Hello dear grade 7 learners! Welcome again to our Math O'Clock with Teacher Catherine. We are now on the second quarter, week 1 of the academic year 2021-2022. Are you ready? We will start this quarter by discussing measurement. Measurement is very useful in our daily life, so you need to keep on focus and master the skills. After watching this video, you should be able to approximate the measures of quantities, particularly length, weight or mass, volume, time, angle, and temperature and rate. Before we proceed with the discussion, let's answer the following questions first. How tall are you? How much do you weigh? How much water can be filled in your tumbler or glass? How old are you? And how hot is it today? To answer these questions, we need to measure. To know how tall you are, you need to measure your length. To know how much you weigh, you must measure your weight or mass. And to know how much water you can fill in your tumbler, you need to measure the capacity or volume of your tumbler. To know how old you are, you need to measure your age using time. And to find out how hot it is today, you need to measure the temperature. So what exactly is measurement? Measurement is a process by which human beings obtain quantitative information about the different physical aspects of objects such as length, weight, area, volume, time, and temperature. The word measure comes from the Latin word mensura and from the Greek word metron. One of the earliest inventions of human beings was the unit of measurement. There are already measurements during the ancient times. In ancient times, people needed measurement to determine how long or wide things are. They need to measure things to build their houses, make their clothes, measure your time, and on how wide their properties are. And during that time, there were no measuring tools. All that they do is to estimate everything. In the 3rd century BC in Egypt, people used their body parts like palm, handspan, and forearm length to determine the measurements of things. The forearm length was called a cubit. The handspan was considered a half cubit, and the palm was considered 1/6 of a cubit. The Egyptians came up with these units to be more accurate in measuring different lengths. However, using these units of measurement had a disadvantage. Not everyone had the same forearm length. Discrepancies arose when the people started comparing their measurements to one another because measurements of the same thing differed depending on who was measuring it. Because of this, palm, handspan, and forearm length are known as non-standard units of measure, which later evolved into what is now the inch, foot, and yard. These basic units of length in the English system of measurement. The English system of measurement was widely used until the 1800s and the 1900s, when the metric system of measurement started to gain ground and became the most used system of measurement worldwide. By 1960, International System of Units, or SI, was released, which is now being used by majority of the countries, with the biggest exception being the United States of America. The 7 SI base units are comprised of meter for length, second for time, mole for amount of substance, ampere for electric current, Kelvin for temperature, candela for luminous intensity, and kilogram for mass. Though these basic units are still widely used, the adoption of the International System of Units will serve its purpose, which is to provide the same values of measurements whenever it is performed. Here are the common prefixes used in the metric system. Between the prefixes deca and deci are the base units for each unit of measure. All units above the base units are larger than these base units, and those located below it are smaller units. As we can see, if we move upward from one unit to another, we are approaching bigger units. The metric system of measurement is easier to use than the English system of measurement, since its conversion factors would consistently be in the decimal. Unlike the English system of measurement, where units of length have different conversion factors. The results of measuring are merely approximations, since measurements are not always exact. Oftentimes, there is a relative error involved. Accuracy of measurements depends on two factors: the skill of the person doing the measurement, so this can be developed through constant practice, and the second is the precision of the instrument used in measuring. This is totally dependent to the measuring device. This time, let us try to approximate measures. In estimating measurement, a person should consider the appropriate unit of measure for the object. For our examples, we determine a practical SI unit for each of the given. First, length of provincial road from Santa Ignacia to Tarlac City town proper. Okay, since we are measuring the length of an object, we need to think of the appropriate length unit for this, which is kilometer. Kilometer is more appropriate compared to other length units because we are measuring long distances. For number 2, total area of a farm. Okay, the correct answer is square meter. For the third one, mass or weight of a grade 7 learner. What do you think is the answer? Okay, the answer is kilogram. This is more appropriate than gram. How about for a volume of a bottle of soft drink? Very good. The answer is milliliter. How about the length of your pencil? Is it meter, kilometer, or what? Very good. The answer is centimeter. This is more appropriate because we are measuring very short objects. Take note, dear learners, that we have to be very careful in choosing the appropriate unit of measure to use. For the next example, let us apply measurement in decision making. Kate, a Tarlac resident, was packing her suitcase for her trip to New York City the next day for a 2-week vacation. She Googled New York weather and found out the average temperature there is 15 degrees Celsius. Should she bring a sweater? What data should Kate consider before making a decision? To answer this, we need to know what data should Kate consider before making a decision. In order to determine whether he or she should bring a sweater or not, Kate needs to compare the average temperature in New York City to the temperature she is used to, which is the average temperature in Tarlac. Compared average temperatures should always be expressed in same units and be converted if it differs. The average temperature in Tarlac is between 23 to 32 degrees Celsius. Since the average temperature in New York City is 15 degrees Celsius, Kate should probably bring a sweater since the latter's temperature is way below the temperature she is used to. Better yet, she should bring a jacket just to be safe. So you have seen how measurement is important in our daily life. Let us now have a recap of what we have discussed. To measure means to give a particular number to a particular characteristic of a person, an object, or a concept. When measurements are made, they are expressed quantitatively as numbers. And in estimating measurement or approximating measurement, a person should consider the appropriate unit of measure for the object. Congratulations, dear learners, for unlocking another competency in Math 7. You are now ready for the next module. Keep it up. So please keep on watching here in our YouTube channel for more exciting and amazing lessons in Math 7. Thank you and God bless.